The story begins at a spacious contemporary medical center prior to shifting into the mental health wing. In a room, a female psychiatrist questions a young muscular man to confirm his bizarre condition that he views every living being as a pig. The young man simply agrees. Taken aback, the doctor leans in, asking if he's joking and if he sees her as a pig. With a dead stern look and intense glowing eyes, the man confirms this is true. The narrative then shifts to the patient's perspective, showing he sees his psychiatrist not as a person, but as an anthropomorphic pig with glasses, confirming his unbelievable state. Despite her shock, the psychiatrist internally notes how good-looking he is. Deciding to test his state, she begins unbuttoning her blouse, suggesting they check his bodily functions. The action catches the young man completely off guard, leaving him wide-eyed and sweating. Leaning closer with her blouse partially open, she seductively questions what he sees. From the patient's perspective, the sight is disturbing. Not only is her head still a pig's, but her breasts have become two smaller, flushed pig heads. In contrast, the psychiatrist's inner thoughts reveal her vanity. Finding it impossible that someone so beautiful could be seen as a pig, the man stands up and bluntly answers, "I see two pigs." Hearing his literal reply, the psychiatrist's demeanor changes from tempting to shocked. Clutching her blouse shut, she recoils, finally convinced of his mental illness. Changing the subject, she sits at her desk holding a model of a person's spine and informs him he has severe spinal problems. She elaborates that his spine is severely deformed and twisted, compressing his brain and optic nerves, theorizing this might be the root cause of his perceptions. The young man is stunned by this revelation, his eyes wide with shock. The doctor gravely explains the only solution is a high-risk surgery to realign his spine, warning that failure could leave him paralyzed from the neck down. The man agrees intently, but his demeanor suddenly changes. He interrupts her with a flat look and glowing red eyes, reaching for the model and asking for his spine back. The psychiatrist is taken aback, realizing he believes the model is his own spine. She internally laments what a waste it is for such a good-looking man to be so delusional. Later, Jan is seen on a crowded bus, holding a medical report diagnosing him with severe mental illness. The scene shifts to his perspective, showing the bus filled with anthropomorphic pig people. He reflects he has always seen the world this way, speculating it's because his parents were pig butchers. He muses that the state doesn't affect his daily life, with the major exception of dating. Clutching his diagnosis, Jan thinks about the day's importance. It's the day he will awaken his profession, and he'd hoped his illness could be cured prior to the ceremony. Arriving at the magnificent Chingchong Academy, he sees a crowd of students prior to a massive glowing blue crystal. He worries his mental illness could negatively affect the awakening, creating a huge problem for his future. A female voice calls out, and a young woman with long, light blue hair approaches. Relieved to see him, she chides him for being late and playfully threatens to beat him up, clenching her fist. From Yuan's perspective, this cute girl is just another pig person, this one with blue-hued features, shaking its fists menacingly. Oblivious, the girl gets comically angry, shaking him and demanding to know if he heard her. Their interaction is noticed by a passing student who calls the girl Shu Lingguan and teases her for being lovey-dovey with Yan. A companion adds that they are childhood sweethearts who will probably marry soon. Flustered, Shu Lingxuan shouts at them, then tells Yeduan to ignore the gossip. From his perspective, the blue-hued pig girl makes the same suggestion, and he calmly agrees. A commanding voice booms as an elderly man prior to the crystal announces the ceremony is starting, instructing students to line up. He explains the awakening is based on their core attributes like strength, agility, and spirit, which they've honed at the academy. Higher attributes improve the chance of an advanced profession. He stresses the gravity of the moment as their awakened profession will affect their entire lives, declaring an advanced combat profession a fat-defying achievement that brings glory to them and the academy. The elder instructs the first student to place their hand on the platform. One by one, students step in. A muscular boy awakens an intermediate metal worker and looks disappointed. Another awakens an advanced healer, while a third awakens a junior engineer and collapses in despair. The next student, a muscular young man with reddish-orange hair, approaches the crystal. The moment his hand makes contact, it erupts in brilliant golden light, revealing his result. Combat-type profession, rare tier, shadowless bladesman. The academy elder is stunned, his jaw dropping. He exclaims in disbelief that it's a rare tier profession, and the students gasp in shock and awe. The elder revealed to be the principal beams with delight and questions for the student's name. The young man proudly introduces himself as Liu Jing Long. Overjoyed, the principal praises him and offers to personally visit his home to discuss his future path. Liu Jing Long thanks the principal, then turns to the crowd, waving smugly as his peers cheer for Brolong. The principal calls the next name, Yan. From the crowd, Shuling Xuan shouts encouragement. The principal observes Yuan with interest, knowing that while the boy is strange, his stats are insanely high. He reflects that Yichuan's combined attribute total is 10, over 3 times the average. Hoping for a miracle, he watches Yetuan place his hands on the platform. Instantly, the crystal explodes with a cataclysmic surge of lightning, far more powerful than prior to, its force buffeting the principal and sending the crowd reeling. The principal stares, aghast at the power, wondering if the blinding energy is golden light, a sign of an awakening beyond rare tier. As Yichuan stares at the raw power he's unleashed, the principal's eyes widen. Divine tier, he yells, confirming the legendary highest possible tier. The energy coalesces and glowing words announce the baffling result. Life-type profession Divine Pig Butcher. The principal is left speechless and shocked, unable to comprehend how a divine tar awakening resulted in a simple pig butcher. The students' shock turns to mockery. The crowd erupts in laughter, questioning if the crystal malfunctioned and debating whether a divine tier awakening makes Yan incredibly lucky or unlucky. The principal seethes with rage and disappointment, feeling heaven is playing a cruel joke on him. After years as principal, he finally saw a legendary divine tier awakening, only for it to be the most useless profession, a pig butcher. He laments that a divine blacksmith or healer would have been something to boast about for years. Overcome with frustration, he thinks the higher his hopes were, the bigger the disappointment. Turning to the isolated Yan, the principal is at a loss for words, managing only a deep, frustrated sigh as the boy walks away. As he walks, Yan notices something unexpected, a holographic blue screen that only he can see. It's a system interface displaying his complete status, including his new profession, talents, and skills. His talents are Swine Nemesis and Blade of God Slaying, and his first skill is Blood Shadow Butcher, which forces pigs into a state of fear. Most importantly, his Swine Nemesis talent grants a 50% bonus damage to pigs, a bonus that increases with every pig killed while also reducing damage from pigs by half. Yuan's eyes lock onto Swine Nemesis as he reads about the 50% damage bonus. A subtle smile spreads across his face. The full implication dawn on him, his eyes glowing with red intensity as a powerful realization washes over him. He thinks that maybe being a lunatic isn't so bad. The final scene shows his perspective again. The entire academy, from the dejected principal to the jeering students, is a massive crowd of pigs. He concludes with the triumphant thought that his new powers are perfect because in his eyes, the entire world is full of pigs. As Yan walks away from the awakening crystal, still shocking the principal, his classmates start to make fun of him. Lu Jinglong and his friend laugh at him openly. The friend mockingly says he expected a real dragon, not a pig butcher, and then praises Lu Jinglong as the only real dragon at the academy. Lu Jinglong smugly agrees. In the middle of the mocking, Xu Lingguan walks over to support Yuan. She gently pats his head and tells him it's okay. She tries to find a bright side, pointing out that as a divine-level pig butcher, he is following in his father's footsteps. While she comforts him, other students look on with envy. 2 boys are crying, upset at Yichuan's amazing luck for awakening a divine-tier profession at all. Flushed, Shuing Swan adds that her father and Yuan's father will be happy with the news. Yuan remembers that he and Xu Lingguan have been neighbors since they were kids. A flashback shows their parents, who all have lifetime jobs, always trying to set them up together. Their talk is cut short when the principal, who has calmed down a bit, calls the next name, Shuling Xuan. It's her turn. Looking nervous and excited, she turns to Yuan and wonders if she will get her mother's tailoring profession or her father's winemaking aching one. Then, she sincerely promises him that no matter what she awakens, she will always stay with him. Yuan is left speechless by her promise. Taking a deep breath, Xu Lingguan nervously walks to the awakening crystal and places her hand on it. The moment she touches it, a huge pillar of bright icy blue light shoots into the sky, much more powerful than any of the awakenings prior to it. Shuing is stunned, her eyes wide with shock at the power. The principal is even more amazed than prior to, his face showing total disbelief. He yells out that it is a legendary profession, a level even higher than Liu Jinglong's rare one. As the light swirls, the crystal shows her destiny, combat-type profession, legendary tier, Snow Soul Sword Immortal. The principal can't believe it. He is amazed she awakened a legendary combat profession, especially since both her parents have simple lifetime jobs. He decides her awakening must be the result of a very rare mutation. When the blue aura of her new power fades, Shuling Xuan stands confidently, her whole attitude changed. The principal, seeing her now as the academy's top student, approaches her with great respect. He promises that Ching Cheng Academy will give her its full support for whatever she needs.